me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56. This hour brought to you by
Welcome back, everybody. So, Zach, we're burying the lead here so far in this first hour of the program. Do you know what that lead is?
No, what's that?
I finally won a lunch bet against Eli. Bronny James. Told you guys exactly what was going down.
Oh, with him getting drafted?
Getting drafted, that LeBron's back, they're going to play together. That was a bunch of crap. What was your reaction to all this stuff? I mean, he signs a 4-year deal, second-round pick. What the hell is going on? Nepotism at its best. I feel good for Bronny. You know, go get him. But my gosh, the guy had heart issues. It's great that he's back on the court and playing. He plays the first summer league game. Looks like he doesn't even belong out there. He gets a 4-year deal. He's a second-round pick. You knew LeBron was staying. I mean, it was the easiest bet you could have made. Easiest bet you could have made.
I think that day was a great day for the James family. I think both days, with Bronny getting drafted and LeBron signed his extension, you know.
It was a great day for them.
It was a great couple of days for
One
him,
was well-deserved, one was not.
Yeah, and my thing is, and I've been, you know, I've been kind of like in this mode with Bronny. I'm trying to treat Bronny like as a regular player, because he was taken at 55. And for me, it's like, if he turns out to be a decent role player, cool. Yeah. But if it doesn't pan out, that's okay. He doesn't pan out.
I wouldn't.
Again, I mean, the idea of whether he, I mean, if he, listen, I hope he ends up being just a fine NBA player.
Yeah.
The only thing, again, I'm tired of the Lakers trying to tell everybody that this was normal and he deserved it. Like, it just does. He doesn't. Like, it's clear why you made the move. Like, there's nothing else about it. Like, no 55th pick is getting that contract.
Nobody.
And nobody who has those college numbers is getting drafted. It's just not happening.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was a gentleman's agreement that nobody was taking Bronny James, even if interested. And I don't know if there was anybody else interested, that they were letting the Lakers take him. It was.
Well, no, they were telling people that he was going to go to Australia if they drafted him, supposedly.
It's just.
But again, I don't think there was anybody going to draft him.
Well, his agent is Paul, right?
Yes.
And he knows what he's doing. He's fantastic at what he does. It's just, it was so obvious that was happening from the get-go. I don't know when we made our bet, but it was going to happen. LeBron was getting his cake, and he's eating it too. And he took a little bit of a pay cut. Ooh, wow. I don't know where he's going to get his next meal from. I like LeBron. He's a great father. I'm happy for Bronny, but that was just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
See, it's really weird to me, though, that relationship, because normally if your dad signs a contract where he's making $50 million a year, you think, man, give me a little bit of that. But then your dad's like, dude, you just signed, you're making $2 million a year. Like, you don't need any of my money.
You don't need any of my money anymore.
You're doing just fine. So it's, whatever. I don't know.
Did you read Dave Sampson, our friend from Nothing Personal, said something like they violated the... Did you read what he said about the Bronny James contract?
No, I didn't.
I read it in passing, and I need to get more information on that, but it said some kind of violation, but he's the only person that has said anything about that. Last night, the Grizzlies won 87-85 over the Sixers. If you're scoring at home, we certainly hope you're not. That evens the record at 101 in Salt Lake City.
Hope you are. It's a good way to start your morning.
They will play tonight against Oklahoma City. Then the scene shifts to Las Vegas on Friday, and they will play 4 games in Las Vegas. I'll actually be out there for a few of those. But the Grizzlies beat the Sixers 87-85 on Jalen Wells' buzzer beater, which was just a heck of a play. The tip back by Jamison, and then Wells getting that shot off as quickly as he did to beat the buzzer. What's interesting is the night before you had the Edey tip in off the missed free throw, but then the Grizz lost in overtime. So some dramatics going on in Salt Lake City when it comes to the Grizzlies Summer League team.
Yeah, they're keeping the fans into it. Thought we were going to get a back-to-back overtimes, but good to see. And I talked about yesterday. The first game, Jalen Wells was kind of in a tough spot because he was the fifth starter out there with all of these. Like when you're out there with Pippen, Laravia, Gigi, and Edey, like. I don't think he really knew where he was going to get shots, and it just he kind of like your first game anyway, and you're out there with the guys who are already on the team, and then the 9th overall pick that everybody wants to see. So he struggled in night one, and that was not a big surprise, but great to see him have the game that he had.
27 points,
knocked down some threes, which again that's a big reason he was drafted is his size and the shooting ability on the wing. Cam Spencer. Again, he can just flat out shoot. Know that, and he did it again. Now, adding the 8 assists and 7 rebounds for Spencer last night, very impressive stuff. So, yeah, I mean the two rookies looked better than the guys who aren't NBA players out there, which is what you're hoping for. Even if they're second round picks, right? Hopefully these guys look like the better players when everybody else is sitting, and the two guys look like the two best players on the Grizzlies.
You're going to be calling a lot of Cam Spencer threes.
Oh, I can't
in
wait.
South Haven.
Spencer, I'm so excited for the first. He's going to hit like 10 threes in a game. It's going to be crazy.
Okay, compared to. Oh gosh, what's the kid's name who's won the dunk contest a couple of times now, but he was a 3-point shooter? What's that guy's name? He's not in the NBA. He's won the dunk contest 2 years in a row. NBA dunk contest.
Nate Robinson?
No, white guy. Last 2 years.
Oh, Mac McClung.
Yeah, the McClungs of the world. I don't want to just compare them to white guys, but I'm going to. Shooters. The kid that played at BYU and all that. What differentiates Spencer from a guy that maybe can hang in the league for a while? What else does he do?
I mean, I don't like. Again, last night. I mean, he was
Fredette. That's what I was thinking of. Jimmer Fredette.
8 assists, and I mean, I don't know what he is as a defensive player.
What's his size? Like 6'2"?
They list him at what 6'3", I think maybe.
Who,
Okay.
Spencer?
Yeah.
I thought he listed him at 6'4".
Is it 6'3",
All right, so he's
6'4", somewhere?
a little taller
Yeah, it's somewhere in
than I
that. Yeah,
thought.
somewhere in that
Yeah.
range. Yeah, I mean,
And
he's nothing like Mac McClung. Oh, Mac McClung is a freak athlete who's like 5'10".
Right.
He has nothing.
And Fredette was the shooter, but this guy is a shooter. He's a 3-point shooter. I'm glad they drafted a shooter. Again, he may not be an impactful player for them at any time. Who knows? But I like the pick. And then Jalen Wells, I really like that pick as well. I thought they did. Again, this is in the past now. It happened a while ago, but I was gone. I really like what they did. But when we come back, I want to talk about the prospects of any more moves, but if not, how do you see the rotation? We saw Gigi Jackson in game 1 look like a mess, man, throwing up all kinds of crap. I don't know if he thought he had to shoot every time, but we know his skill set from last year, just where they are. Plus, Zach Edey, all of a sudden, after one Summer League game, goes from the second to the first odds-on favorite to win the NBA Rookie of the Year.
I checked this morning. Jalen Wells has not taken over that spot. Thought maybe Jalen Wells, after last night's performance, people would be jumping on him. But no, he is still not the favorite. It's still Zach Edey. Folks, if you've got a special occasion coming up and you're looking for a beautiful piece of jewelry, well, head on over to Genesis Diamonds. Maybe it's an engagement ring. Well, they've got all the top designers, the top of the line, creme de la creme, the ones that all the ladies know about and you probably don't know about. Well, they've got all those designers for those rings. The great and unbelievable selection of diamonds of all different sizes and shapes and everything. Whatever price range you're looking for, well, Genesis Diamonds has something for you. But maybe it's not an engagement ring. Maybe it's a beautiful pair of earrings or a necklace or Maybe it's one of those pre-owned Rolex watches. Whatever it is that you're looking for, you know you're going to get a great selection, you're going to get great pricing, and you're going to get unbelievable service when you go see the folks at Genesis Diamonds. Poplar and Perkins Extended. Go see them, Genesis Diamonds.
You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
They're taking care of beerness in Memphis, right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo. And if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called God Hopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
If you have damage to your home and have your insurance carrier involved, you need a great contractor. You also need a team that has seen claims of all shapes and sizes, residential or commercial. After our inspection, we'll share our findings and give you our professional opinion. Some people say you get what you pay for. However, our opinion is free. Trust the name you can depend on, like the tens of thousands of families Brian and I have served over the past 20 years here in the Mid-South. Brian Elmer Roofing. We'll measure your roof from outer space and share our team's experience for your property and claim. Repaired roofs, replacement roofs, big roofs, tiny roofs, insurance roofs, flat roofs, TPO roofs, asphalt roofs, tile roofs, slate roofs, metal roofs. If your roof needs some love, call me. 901-866-0303 or schedule
Hi, I'm April Rose, and we all know about the speed of sound. But have you ever thought about the sounds of speeding? If you drive over the speed limit, there are lots of sounds that you might hear. You could hear the sound of your vehicle crashing, the sound of first responders desperately trying to save you. You could even hear the sound of people crying at a funeral. Because if you drive over the speed limit, you could do damage that's beyond repair. One way or another, speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
When we say that Bell Tavern, Memphis' perfect downtown neighborhood bar, is cool, we're not just talking about the temperature. Now, it is very cool in Bell Tavern this time of year, but it's also just straight up cool. The atmosphere is cool, the employees are cool, and the customers are cool. Bell Tavern isn't for people that feel compelled to act out whether their team is winning or losing. It's for people that act like grown-ups, cool grown-ups. That means if you go to Bell Tavern, you're cool. Lots of people go to big chain sports bars, but you could be one of the people that goes to Bell Tavern. That's cool.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawa Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawa is an ACUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and WT538 Midtown Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Sports 56 Traffic.
Good morning. An accident over here on 40 westbound at just past Sycamore View Road's got traffic really slow now between Witten Road and Sycamore View Road on 40 going westbound because of this accident. Give yourself a little bit of extra time over here on this side of town until they can get this flowing a little bit better. Traffic's on the increase 55 coming up through DeSoto County. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full service family owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on time traffic.
Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Genuine diamonds, baby.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:04 the time. Hour 2 here on Sports 56 Mornings. The Wednesday, July 10th, 2024. Hump Day edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. Summer is here. It's time to party. You could party down to Family Leisure and get yourself some great deals on everything you need for the summer. 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Currently, 73 degrees, very comfortable outside, but it will get to 90, although lower humidity, but sunshine is abound today. Tonight, clear skies with a low of 69. Second hour of the program brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. I'll give you more of the particulars a little bit later on in the hour. You can hit us up on the Sissy's Log Cabin Lister lines by calling in or texting in at 901-360-8255. We spent the bulk of the first hour talking about the Grizzlies and the Summer League, the roster, the whole situation with the moves that have been made over the last couple of weeks, and who knows if there's still a move to be made. We also talked about the Big 12 Media Days wrapping up and the interesting comments, to say the least.
Today they wrap up.
Oh, they wrap up today? It's 3 days?
No, yesterday and today.
Okay. So Mike Gundy had some things to say yesterday, the Oklahoma State head coach. We discussed that on the program as well. We got some Tiger basketball news to get to a little bit later on in the hour. So Major League Baseball, as the All-Star Game takes place Tuesday, the Home Run Derby field is now complete. Some PGA news as well. But back to the Grizzlies and Summer League. Tonight, Oklahoma City for that third and final game. Back-to-back-to-back games in Salt Lake City. No rest for the weary.
Yeah, and I don't know, because they've got the game Friday as well. It's 4 games in 5 days this week, so I'm assuming some of those guys will be back in there tonight. I don't know how they will do these as far as playing the main guys, Laravia, Gigi, Edie, and Pippen, but I'm assuming some of them, or maybe all of them, will play tonight, but who knows?
How much of Edie would you play? I mean, we saw what he can do in game 1. He turned his ankle for a second there, but stayed in the game after telling the trainer, I'm not going back to the locker room. Then he took the hard fall when he battled Walker Kessler. I know you can get hurt anytime, get hurt in practice. I understand that. Maybe another game or so?
Yeah, I have no idea what their plan is with all of those guys. I don't think Gigi will play very much, but I guess maybe if he's terrible again in his next game, they'll make him play another one. I don't know. Edie, I wouldn't expect him to play a ton of games. Laravia, same thing. Pippen probably, I guess, will probably play more. But yeah, I have no idea how much they want to or feel they need to play any of those guys. I'm sure they'll play at least a little bit in Vegas, but I would, so they may just rest all of them again tonight, have them play Friday, and then who knows if we see him again even in Vegas. I don't know.
So if you had a few extra dineros, and I said you had to bet it on the Rookie of the Year, Zach Edey is now the odds-on favorite. He was second when it first came out to Sarr. Now, after one Summer League performance, he's vaulted to number 1.
Well, he was way down, and then he got bet.
Then he moved
all
up.
the money
Okay.
came up to got him to second, and then after the game the other night, he went to first.
Would you bet Edey? Would you put the money on Edey?
No, I would. I mean, not that I think Edey will have certainly has a chance because he'll be out, he'll be playing. I just think some of these other guys are going to have an opportunity to put up much better offensive numbers because they're going to be able to shoot the basketball. Like Edey, and so he'll get some points off of that, but there's a lot of shots that got to go around that Zach Edey's not getting. A guy like Sarr could step in and be a focal point of their offense. He'll be one of their better players. So I just think guys like somebody like that has an opportunity to put up just numbers that are going to be better than Edey because of the opportunity that he gets.
I know I'm going back in time, but again, I wasn't here. Was there anything that you thought was crazy about the draft? Like just ludicrous? Where somebody was picked or not picked?
Bronny James, but that's
we already went over that.
Dalton Connect slipping all the way as far as he did was in the Lakers getting lucky that he did it. There were some weird late first round picks that were a little strange, but not like completely ludicrous.
How about the moves that have been made so far around the league? Again, I'm getting bits and pieces as I'm in Europe, but I see, and no surprise, that Murray, as DeJounte, is, you knew that was going to be split up between him and Trae Young. Pelicans, Chris Paul, Spurs, DeMar DeRozan, Kings, Klay Thompson moves from Golden State to Dallas. By the way, all these moves in the Western Conference, all these players. Others, again, that have been moved. Who has made the most significant? Zach, you can jump in on this as well. Who has made the most significant move so far?
Philadelphia has clearly made the most significant. Adding Paul George and Caleb Martin,
right,
and all that. They've they're in it to win it. Other than Maxey and Embiid, they've basically remade their roster completely around those two.
Still behind Boston?
If they're fully healthy, I think it's them, Boston, and the Knicks, all battling. But, Boston still is probably the best. You have to say that they were the best team all year long. So, while the Knicks improved, certainly with Mikal Bridges, and while Paul George certainly improves Philadelphia, Boston doesn't need to improve because they were already pretty clearly the best team.
Anybody hurt themselves in the West aside from the Clippers losing Paul George?
I don't know about, we've talked a lot about it. I think for the most part, teams have gotten better. I think, the Pelicans, again, we'll see what happens with Brandon Ingram, but if they keep that all together, that's certainly, and even if they get rid of Ingram, I still think DeJounte Murray makes them certainly better. The Kings getting DeRozan certainly makes them better. The Lakers, while they struck out on everybody, I still think Dalton Knecht just makes them better because he adds a shooter to them, but they're not significantly better by adding a rookie shooter. Denver took a big hit with KCP gone, but they still have Jokic and they still have Murray, so they'll still be good. But I don't think they're I don't think they're as good as they were, certainly without KCP.
Zach?
I think the team that got better in my eyes, OKC, because in the playoffs, outside of Chet, they didn't have another big to throw out there, and now you get another. I say Hartenstein is a very good mobile big.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
He doesn't have the offensive game. You really don't really need him for his offense. You just need him for his presence and for him to move the ball. And if they would have had that type of player available in the playoffs, I think it would have been a different series against the Mavericks. So OKC to me I think getting Hartenstein on that contract was the best move in my eyes.
I agree, and they also made the sneaky good move before I left for vacation when they got Caruso for Giddey, a really good defensive-minded player. All right, so with the Grizzlies, with what they have right now, with the assumption, and maybe we shouldn't assume, that Kennard is going to sign a new deal that's favorable to both he and the team from a financial standpoint, you have your 15, and then you have your 3 two-way guys. So has anything changed as far as rotation is concerned? And what's scary is that if they don't make another move for a big, then, and as Taylor Jenkins said yesterday, there's all kinds of things they could do. So there's certainly times where Jaren Jackson Jr. will be the 5, but Edey is predominantly the 5, and Brandon Clark comes off the bench in that 5 role. But then, God forbid an injury, Trey Jemison's the guy being called up, who is a big, but let's face it, I think you're in a little bit of trouble with him. So what happens with the rotation with the plethora of wings that they have right now?
I don't think anything's really to change. It's still going to be, again, and I still think there's a good chance there's a trade of at least one of these guys out of Zaire, Laravia, Conchar, probably of that, in that group that somebody's moved to possibly create a spot for another, or to in the trade probably get some sort of big. But it's the rotation again. It's still going to be, if you're going with Ja, Smart, and Bane as your starting guards, then you got Kennard coming off the bench. You've got what's the former two-way guy? Gosh darn it, I just lost his name. Vince Williams. Vince Williams probably coming off the bench. Up front, you got Brandon Clark coming off the bench. Santi. I still think Santi's going to be in the rotation, and then Gigi is kind of your next fringe rotation guy.
Yeah, look, I'm glad they haven't dealt, and I'm not even sure if they were even thinking about it, but Marcus Smart is, we still don't know how that all works out. I want to see it. I'm very curious to see that. But is this team right now, the makeup of this team, going to be as good? And Taylor talked about this last night, of getting back, not only getting back to where they were a couple years ago, but getting further than where they went in the postseason because they struggled in the postseason. Are they better suited with a rookie center and no Steven Adams? With the addition of Marcus Smart, of course, who wasn't there 2 years ago. I don't know. I really don't know. So it's going to be interesting, but I think Taylor Jenkins is right when he says that there's going to be a lot of different things that they can do. There's a lot more variety, and the coaches that have been added to his staff that we talked about earlier.
And again, if they're going on with the offense of Isola,
right?
I mean, his offense is more like what he ran in Paris was with mobile, smaller bigs. So even if you don't get another big, I mean, Santi certainly in that role. You could put Gigi at the 4. You could put Vince Williams. You can use guys and go small because that's what that offense is going to be more suited for anyway. If that's what you're trying to do.
True. I forgot about Santi. That's another guy. All right. So the U.S. Olympic men's basketball team has 5 exhibitions on their schedule starting tonight. They will play Canada in Las Vegas. This just in, Vegas is a busy, busy city. Next week, of course, will be the Summer League and the move from Utah or California, where teams are going to converge on Las Vegas. Then there'll be 2 games in Abu Dhabi, 2 in London, before the team heads to France for the Summer Olympics. The first game for Team USA is versus Serbia. They're going to play one of their exhibition games against Serbia. That, of course, is Nikola Jokic's team. July 28th will be their first game in group stage competition at the Olympics. But it starts tonight with Canada. Canada is a loaded team. And Dylan Brooks is already opening his mouth that you had to go get the big guys to beat Canada because the Canadians knocked off the United States last year in the World Games, 3rd place. Didn't they get the bronze?
Yeah, FIBA World Cup. Yeah.
FIBA World Cup. Jaren Jackson Jr. was a part of that team. So Dylan's opening his mouth. But while Canada's loaded, and I think they'll be competitive, this team is, again, a dream team-esque squad. Now, the question is, and I don't know if it really matters, it certainly won't against certain opponents, but in the medal stages it will, who should be the starters on this team? It looks like Kawhi's got the green light to play now. KD will not play tonight, according to reports. Not sure what his deal is. Knee. Okay. Hopefully it's not too serious. But you got some of these guys who are getting up there in age. Of course, LeBron leading the way. Who should the starters be? Who do you think?
Steph, LeBron, Edward, Davis.
Who was your third one? Who did you say?
LeBron?
Edwards.
Edwards?
You think Edwards should be starter?
Yeah. He started.
Yeah, I would agree.
Edwards, Steph, LeBron.
AD.
Okay. And then you need basically a power forward.
I guess Embiid.
You start both of the bigs together.
Yeah.
What about you, Eli? I don't know if I'd start the bigs.
I'd definitely go Curry, Edwards, and LeBron. Especially with KD out. If KD's available, I would probably go KD and Embiid and Davis comes off the bench.
Davis off the bench. I think Davis will absolutely start. I think he'll start. But I like that with KD and Embiid. Here's the thing. How about let me throw
Because when you got LeBron and KD, it's like you need another big. Like you got 2 6'9", 6'10" guys. Like they're going to be able to, I think those guys can hold their own on the international level.
Let me throw a curveball. Holiday in the starting lineup to go along with Steph and LeBron because of his defensive capability. Shutdown defender. Edwards is certainly not a shutdown defender.
I can see that. I would rather use Holiday as a. Okay, we can't we can't get a stop. Come in here, and just muck the game up for us.
If you play certain teams, like there might be a player on the other team that you're like, all right, let's put him in there on that guy. But I wouldn't be starting Holiday Day.
I could also see Tatum starting at that 4.
Yeah.
To go along with Davis. I think Davis will start Tatum or KD and Embiid off the bench, although I understand what you're saying with the Twin Towers. And then I would start Holiday over Edwards, but I could see Edwards and certainly Steph and LeBron.
Especially this first game, because you going up against Team Serbia. So they're going to have the bigs. So for me, I'll just go ahead and start the double bigs and then just adjust mid-game if I need to go small or go quicker if I need to.
Yeah, and by the time that game comes along, which is the start of the Olympics, they will have played 5 games in exhibition games. So they'll have a better feel. I'm sure they'll mix and match what they're doing. Plus, they've been scrimmaging. They've been scrimmaging the U.S. select team. And Connor Flagg, I don't know if you had a chance to talk about – I'm sorry, Cooper Flagg. I don't know if you guys had a chance yesterday to talk about it. I don't know when it happened. But Cooper Flagg crushed it. And Kevin Durant and other guys were just glowing about how good this guy was at his age. Is he 17 or is he 18?
17.
17. He'll play for Duke. Man, this better be the year for Duke with the players that they have. But Flagg looked absolutely terrific, helping tune up the U.S. Olympic team for the games in Paris later on this summer.
So question. So if one of the players from the main squad gets hurt,
right?
Do they select a player off of the select team, or are they rolling with the 11 or the 5 or the 14?
I think isn't there a time limit? Like
I would assume they would. I assume they have alternates, just like because like the women have Caitlin Clark as an alternate. Like I assume there's alternates. I don't know who their alternates are, but if somebody goes down, then they would add one of the alternates. But I'm not sure who their alternates are for them.
The alternates travel with team.
I have no idea how that works. I don't think so. I think that's just like once they get to the Olympics, if somebody gets hurt, I would guess they probably just roll with the 14. But I don't know.
The reality with alternates is that if there is a temporary injury to a player on the roster within with the A team, that as long as we give 6 hours notice, we're able to make a temporary change, and we can then change that for the following game. So you have to give at least 6 hours notice to change for that particular game, and then you could say, okay, we're going to keep this guy on the roster because this guy's going to be out for a substantial amount of time.
Okay.
Interesting. What's also interesting, well, they've been around for years and years, so maybe it's not so interesting anymore. But, boy, when you go into their store, it's interesting because there's always new items every single week. It's James Gaddis Jewelers. They are your family's jeweler at 4900 Poplar Avenue between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. If you are looking for that special engagement ring, make sure you look at a bunch of different jewelers. Make sure James Gaddis Jewelers is one of them. They've been in the business for a long time, selling these beautiful engagement rings, wedding rings, personally designed wedding sets. James is a master jeweler and certified appraiser. He's a diamondologist, and he's graded by the Gemologist Institute of America. In other words, he has the credentials. They are full-service jewelers. They got 2-bench jewelers ready to serve you daily, and all their diamonds are independently graded and certified. They know there's a lot of competition, so they make sure they have a price point to suit everyone's budget. So you're looking to get engaged later this summer, this fall, whatever the case may be, make sure you head over to James Gaddis Jewelers and check out what they have to offer, plus all their beautiful watches, bracelets and necklaces, earrings and pendants, gemstones of all types, custom-made jewelry, and one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. It's James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. Looks like the Memphis Tigers have added a player to Penny Hardaway's roster. That's reported. We'll tell you who it is when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7
This is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Fiveash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does your favorite mixers. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent out to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff, just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, mainly 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Trying to clear up this crash over here. It's made a mess on 40 westbound, just past Sycamore View Road. That's why it's been limping along now between Abilene and Sycamore View Road coming westbound on I-40 because of this accident here. They almost made it to the split. Traffic's on the increase even more on 55 coming up through South Haven. Weimer's Jewelry right here in Memphis, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in Memphis. Go by and see them today at Weimer's Jewelry. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Diamonds are forever. Woo!
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:27 is the time. Happy hump day to you. Greg, Eli, and Zach with you. Memphis Tiger basketball news. Jason Munns from the Commercial Appeal first to report yesterday that Penny Hardaway is adding, although nothing official, is adding a transfer. Wing P.J. Carter, 6'5 wing, 3-point shooter, who played, it's had an interesting career, 16 games. That's all he played in his first 2 seasons at Campbell for the Camels. Then he transferred to Georgia Highlands College, and he played there. Then last season, he played at UTSA, their first year in the American Conference. This past June 17th, which was about a month ago, a little bit less than a month ago, he signed with Rice, but had not reported to campus. So since he didn't, he was free to sign elsewhere. And apparently, it's with the University of Memphis. 31 games last year with the Roadrunners, 10 starts, averaged 9.5 points in 19.8 minutes per game. Not too bad. 2.4 rebounds, 0.9 assists. But he shot 40.3% beyond the arc, 52 of 129, which was good enough for 6th in the American Conference. So Memphis, again, according to Jason's report, go out and get a shooter. That can't hurt. That's a good pickup. It's another American Conference player. That's what, 3 at least on the roster? Haggerty from Tulsa, Rogers from Wichita State. I may be missing somebody. Of course, Jourdain originally came from Temple. Good little pickup at 6'5", good size on the wing. Can get his own shot off. operates mainly, according to Hitman Hoops, off a variety of screens, about 47% of his possessions. So very quietly, Penny has added a player. I thought he would add somebody. It just didn't seem like, to me on paper, he had enough shooting, and now goes out and gets the shooter. I would have to think the roster is complete. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, talk about the last few days. It's kind of been very quiet overall, and then this came up yesterday. Yeah, it's certainly a 40% 3-point shooter on a guy who averaged 4 attempts per game is not a bad addition.
Not bad at all.
You can use shooting. In today's basketball, he had not been that good of a shooter previously, but certainly last year shot it extremely well. So that is it's again, line it up with 3-point shooting, and whether the roster is done or not, I don't know. But I guess I can't imagine there's a whole lot of impact players out there now. Again, there's always, I guess, a chance of one of these that maybe signed somewhere else and actually but never went there. I don't know how many of those there are that could actually have an impact, but maybe there is still somebody out there. I have no idea who it is.
But I like this. Penny and Rick Stansbury, whoever else was involved, they're looking at what they need, and they've recruited, and they had to basically recruit a whole new team, but they recruited players that do things specifically well, like Cisse, who is a shot blocker, inside physical guy, not a shooter. They went out and got Rogers, who's a 3-point shooter. Now they add Carter, who's a 3-point shooter, a great all-around player in Haggerty. Hunter, who will be a leader right off the bat. Danger for his inside play, who has more of an ability to take it outside a little bit. I like the rhyme and the reason why they got the guys they did, and who knows if it will work out? Nobody knows. Hopefully they find that chemistry with months during the summer and then fall camp to be ready to go, and maybe there'll be a surprise. On paper, I look at the team and I don't go, oh, I mean, that's an Elite 8 team. It's a Final Four team. I don't think so, but I don't know. And these are the type of teams that can really surprise you because the expectations won't be too high. Now, it's Memphis in the American Conference, and the expectations will be to win the conference. But some of that's on them, and some of that's on that it's a poor conference. But whether or not this team can be a team that makes the run, we'll have to see. And that has a lot to do with the coaching staff and those players finding that cohesiveness, that chemistry. But I like the design of this team. It reminds me of a couple of years ago, even though I don't know if there is a Kendrick Davis or a DeAndre Williams. But they went after some of the bigger names that were still left in the portal over the last 6 weeks. And those players went elsewhere. And I applaud Memphis because they are not going to – maybe if they had all the success of money, they would have paid those guys. Maybe, I don't know. But Penny might have got to a point where Penny was like, yeah, I don't want you. I mean, it's all you want. We know they want money, but
my guess is if they would have had more money, they would have given them more money.
Well, I don't know. I mean, but maybe you get to the point too where it frustrates you and you go, you're not worth that type of money. You might not say that to the player, but you may think that to yourself. So whether or not it's that, the former or the latter, it's still the bottom line is Memphis, while they're in a better position to bring in players, don't go overboard with the Fred Smith and the Smith family gift, because this is not $5 million sounds like a lot, but spread over an athletic department, it's not end all be all when some players reportedly want $2 million or $1.5 million or $1 million. I mean, that's crazy money. I don't know what these guys are getting, but I can guarantee it's not that type of money. So whether he balked on that or whether because they didn't have it or he just said, yeah, forget about it. We'll move on. And some of those players that they were after, good players, may not necessarily be great players. What you need is a great team. And a great team can come from a bunch of really good players who are willing to do whatever it takes. Whether, to give in, maybe from their individualism to the team concept, which is a lot harder in this day and age because kids want to make a name for themselves and make it to the association. But this is one of those mystery teams. We still don't even know the complete coaching staff at this point on the 10th of July. Now, I'm going to be at an event next week in Vegas with Penny Hardaway, who's having a golf event out there. And, I hope I get a chance to talk to him. I don't know if I will, but I'll hopefully get a chance. I like the approach that he's more close to the best. It's not the greatest for talk radio and our shows, but I like that he's not just out there going, yep, this guy's going to be the best defender, this guy's going to be the best three-point shooter, this is going to be this. Maybe quietly they can sneak up on people. It's interesting because it's kind of a reversal of fortunes with the two programs, football and men's basketball. Because football, it's all about the talk now. And they have accepted it and embraced it, the football talk, about what this year could be. Whereas basketball's kind of become more quiet in the background of football going into 2024-25.
So we got two PJs on the team, though. We got a PJ Haggerty and a PJ Carter.
Yes.
That's true.
So how are we going to
It's a
differentiate
PJ party.
the two?
It's a pajama party.
Got to find out if there's a nickname for any of the guys. Use the nicknames.
Going with what, Carter and Hags? I'm like,
No. I mean, they may have one. They may have one already established. I mean, PJ's probably, I don't even know if that's the real name, but I'm talking about like a true nickname.
Right.
If they have them. You're right. So we'll see. PJ and PJ.
That's
Can't get enough. You can never have enough PJs.
Got them in different colors too. Oh yeah.
I like PB and J, but
listen. Again, there are some what looks like it. This roster looks like it fits together well. Again, now you're relying on these guys to actually come in and make shots. Jaquan Walton was a good shooter. Came in, he didn't make shots. So you gotta. I think Haggerty.
Right.
I think Haggerty has a chance. I mean, he showed last year. I think Haggerty could come in and have a great year.
I think Hunter
can.
can.
And if these guys can make shots around him, then I think he could be conference player of the year type stuff. So.
And I think Jourdain was good last year. He's a good 3-point shooter, and then you got Tyreek Smith. So, yeah, it could be a really interesting team. Who you don't have is David Jones, and David Jones played last night for the 76ers. He signed his two-way deal, played last night for the Sixers, had 6 points, 10 rebounds, I think 5 or 6 on the offensive glass, only turned it over one time. Love David Jones, always a smile on his face. I loved having discussions with him and wish him well. But he did get his two-way deal because that was a big topic of conversation after he said he was going pro and not coming back to Memphis for that final year of eligibility. Speaking of the NBA, Cade Cunningham has agreed to a max rookie deal with Detroit. 5 years, $224 million. Good money if you could find it, Eli. Good money.
And could be more.
And by the way,
could it be more?
I don't have any idea what Detroit's doing this offseason. Some of the players they're bringing in, they just signed Tobias Harris.
Yes, I believe Harris went there. Or was it?
I think so, right?
They also picked up who did they just claim off waivers?
Who, the Detroit?
Yeah.
Oh, they got
Paul Reed.
Yeah,
Paul Reed. Yeah.
Paul Reed. That was another one of the bigs that was possibly going to be out there, veteran big. But yeah, they took him off waivers before he got to free agency. Nobody knows what Trajan Langdon's really doing. It's just, but he's got to assess all that young talent that he's got and try and piece this all together. Certainly, I for next year, I'm guessing they probably don't want to be very good because I'm sure they want to be at the top of this draft. That is going to be a really good draft. Probably flag at number 1, but who knows? Some of these other guys, there's a lot of other guys up there too. But so I'm assuming they don't really want to be good yet, or they don't even really want to be improved. I'm sure this is another year of tanking in Detroit.
I can see Flag and Duran playing together because Duran
I can see Flag playing with anybody. Flag does what he wants to do.
No, but yeah, but I wouldn't like Flag and Holmgren. I like Flag and Duran is not this guy who's knocking down threes like crazy from the outside. Duran is not the biggest guy as far as height is concerned, but he's a physical specimen inside that does all the dirty work and scores down low. And then you got Flag. I could see that kind of working, but I'm sure
Cooper Flag's not like he's a 7-footer. He's a wing. Why wouldn't he work with Chet Holmgren?
I thought he was taller than that.
He's like 6'7", 6'8". I think,
okay, my mistake. I thought he was 6'10", 6'11". Oh gosh, yeah.
Cooper Flag can play with anybody and any. Cooper Flag is just a stud. He's just bottom line a stud.
I thought Flag was 6'11", 6'10", 6'11". Oh, you're absolutely right. You could put him in any. I was just thinking he was a big that was more long and lanky. I mean, he looks so big when he's playing. I just assumed that was his size, but yeah, he's a standout. Next year already, the class of 25 people are drooling over, and not just because of him. They think it's going to be a fantastic class. Speaking of fantastic, one thing I didn't get over in Europe for 2 weeks is barbecue. They got great food, but they don't have barbecue, and they don't have Memphis barbecue. We have the best barbecue in the world, ladies and gentlemen. You know that, though. And Corky's is one of the leaders. Corky's has been around for 4 decades. They specialize in that delicious, slow-smoked barbecue, the ribs, the barbecue nachos. Oh, my gosh, it's out of this world. I'm making myself hungry right now. They have also specialized in catering for their 4 decades. They could come to your location, set you up, start you out as low as $8.99 per person. Now, when you head over for lunch, they got a lunch special every single day. You can pick up a third of a rack of ribs for just $7.99 when you purchase an entree, barbecue sandwich, maybe their award-winning catfish plate, or any entree during lunch or dinner. Party packs that start at just $7.49. They also have a private party room at the Cordova and the Olive Branch location. So if you have a birthday party, little celebration, anniversary, family reunion, whatever the case may be, give them a call and reserve a time and date for the private party room. 4 convenient locations in the Mid-South: Poplar Avenue in Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. It's Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, open 7 days a week.
Duke lists Flag at 6'9", so I'm guessing he's 6'8". But they also list him as a guard.
Oh, gosh.
Guard/forward.
Yeah, so yeah, he's a
wing.
He's a lot shorter than I thought he was. All right, we'll take a timeout. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Make your next grill your last with a Big Green Egg. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Save money on fuel, eating out, and replacing expensive grills that cannot match the flavor of the Big Green Egg. Ready to cook in only 10 to 15 minutes with temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between with ease. Change your at-home cooking experience for life. Go to shop.biggreenegg.com.
As you know, summer is right around the corner, and for most people, that means more activities, more golf, more biking, more of whatever you love to do. But if you're dealing with aches and pains, your more could become less. This is why I'm here to tell you about Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. For instance, I was sent Relief Factor to try, and I've been taking it every single day. I'll tell you what, I feel the difference every day. You see, instead of masking your pain, Relief Factor's formula is designed to help reduce or even eliminate it. It's 100% drug-free, and it's been a game changer for so many people. So let's get after it this summer. Let's feel good. Let's do more of the things that we love to do. Don't let pain keep you down. Give Relief Factor a try and save on your first order. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Help fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up. I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code QUICK to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code QUICK for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code QUICK for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
If you have damage to your home and have your insurance carrier involved, you need a great contractor. You also need a team that has seen claims of all shapes and sizes, residential or commercial. After our inspection, we'll share our findings and give you our professional opinion. Some people say you get what you pay for. However, our opinion is free. Trust the name you can depend on, like the tens of thousands of families Brian and I have served over the past 20 years here in the Mid-South. Brian Elmer Roofing. We'll measure your roof from outer space and share our team's experience for your property and claim. Repaired roofs, replacement roofs, big roofs, tiny roofs, insurance roofs, flat roofs, TPO roofs, asphalt roofs, tile roofs, slate roofs, metal roofs. If your roof needs some love, call me. 901-867-0303.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Don't you just love it?
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. Received a text from our good friend Jarvo. He said, I'm concerned a bit about the U.S. men's Olympic basketball team. Stars, yes, but many of the names, using the quotes, are long in the tooth, and their teams did not advance in the playoffs. The world is getting better, especially our neighbors to the north. This will be a grind, I think. I agree with him. I do. Now, there are some countries they're going to run roughshod over and win by 50, but I don't think it's going to be every game's a piece of cake because the world is better, is much better. I don't know so much about the age of these guys, as long as they're healthy. Davis
the fact that they didn't advance in the playoffs is a positive.
Because they have more...
The older guys...
Less wear and tear.
I would be more worried if they advanced in the playoffs. And like, some of them wouldn't have played, I don't think, if they would have advanced.
Because of the wear and tear.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure the Dallas Mavericks are ecstatic that Slovenia didn't make the Olympics.
I'm sure they are. But as far as your thoughts, do you feel that they're going to be blowing everybody out by 50, or do you think that there will be a grind, like Jarvo said?
I think they'll beat teams by 50, but they should win easily.
Well, if they don't win...
These other teams have, like... Now, Canada, I'd have to look at their full roster, but, like, Canada has a roster pretty full of NBA players.
Yeah.
These other teams have, like, 3, 4, 5. We have full of NBA, all NBA players, like star and like guys who make all NBA teams, like the best of the NBA. We're full of them.
But there are great players that don't play in the NBA, that play around the world that don't play in the NBA. Not everyone is going to the NBA.
Very few of them are as good as the NBA players.
So here's the key.
Especially not our NBA players when we're talking about the best of the best.
Now remember, you talk about people being happy. How about Zach Kleiman? That Zach Edey's playing here. He could be on the Canadian team. He could be playing for the Canadians in the Olympics. Zach Edey's a Canadian. You got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You got R.J. Barrett. You got Lou Dort. You got Kelly Olynyk. You got Nickeil Alexander, what's his last name? Walker. You have Dylan Brooks, obviously. Dwight Powell. Don't you have Jamal Murray? Isn't he Canadian as well, if I'm not mistaken?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good team. Yes, it's not the Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer that's on the U.S. team. But I think it's a pretty good team. But you're right. Every team that will be in the Olympics are tested and good and have some really, really good players, some stars, like in the case of Serbia with Jokic. But the depth is not there. And that's where you see the U.S. team winning it all eventually, not just because of talent, but because of the depth of the talent. Yeah, if they come away from Paris without the gold, I mean, come on, man.
I mean, with regardless of what 5 guys on our roster are on the court, pretty much against any team we're playing, we're going to have minimum 3 of the 5 best guys on the court, and our 5 probably better than all but 1 or 2 of their guys.
Fair
and
enough.
again, that's only a few teams.
Fair enough.
Again, Canada, yes, they are full of NBA players. They've got enough that they're full of them. But I mean, who's our worst player?
That's what I was going to ask earlier when we were talking about the rotation, the starters, and all that. Who's deep on the bench?
Like Adebayo's probably our third center, so like
Halliburton's deep in my.
Halliburton would be. I mean, like these are the worst guys, and they're Halliburton was third team All NBA.
Yeah,
like he's our. We're talking about him being third team on this team. Like
right.
I was saying, again, to get certain teams, Canada, a couple others, maybe that. But again, I mean, Spain, who just qualified, like the MVP of their qualifying tournament is Santi Aldama. Like he's one of their best players. So like,
you don't need to say anything more.
I'm just like
the Gasols are gone.
I mean, I'm just so like. I mean, in Spain, if I'm not mistaken, is what rank in the FIBA rankings? Aren't they like 2 or 3?
Yeah, they're way up there.
And like,
Australia will be good, but you're right. Yeah, overall the depth.
Germany was it Germany who won the gold last year in the World Cup? Was it Germany?
Was it Germany?
Like it was Germany.
I'm telling you one thing: Detlef Schrempf isn't walking through that door.
And I don't even know who's on Germany's team. I don't know. I'd have to look at their thing. But I mean, God,
I understand.
If this team doesn't dominate, that's ridiculous. Like you've got LeBron James, you've got Kevin Durant, you've got Steph Curry, you've got Anthony Edwards, like Kawhi. Like, I mean, seriously, they should be able to throw, like, literally, if you're Steve Curry, you should be able to just draw 5 names out of a hat and say, go play, and they win easily.
This team Germany, they beat Team Serbia.
Germany did win.
They beat Jokic's team.
Okay, who is on Germany's? What NBA players does Germany have?
I can tell you who's on that team.
Who?
Because when I went to a supermarket, they had like this whole thing of drinks, right? And they had energy drinks, and on the can, I took a picture of it, was Dennis Schroeder. They love him in Germany.
Ding, ding, ding.
Who else do they have?
I think Daniel Tice is German as well. Was it the Wagner? The Wagner boys are German.
Wagners.
Yeah.
Wagner. Excuse me. Let me get it right.
Hans and Franz, the Wagner boys. Oh, by the way, when I was in Milan, just on Monday, they have the NBA store in Milan. I walk over to the NBA store, and right there in the front is a Ja Morant jersey and a Ja Morant little doll with the Vancouver Grizzlies jersey on, the throwbacks, the retros, the old school. Right there, 2 of the things in the front display window was Ja Morant. They love Ja in Germany. Actually, Italy, Milan.
The two, the team that won it last year, they had Tice, they had Schroeder, both Wagners, they had Isaac Bunga. But that's it from NBA players.
The man is a superstar with Team Germany.
Like it's still like
and Hitler.
Again, it's embarrassing for us.
Hitler was good from the outside.
It's ridiculous that we didn't win that thing last year. Like we should want, like with the team we sent over there. I don't care again who it is. We're talking a team full of NBA players should go win that thing. But that being said, that roster that we had last year is not nearly as good as the roster we have for the Olympics.
Oh gosh, no.
So. Again, there's no way we should be losing to any of these teams.
With all due respect to Jaren Jackson Jr., I mean, he's a hell of a player, but he's not one of these guys. Remember the talk that maybe Jackson would be on the team? I mean, what? Now the question is, will Ja Morant or Desmond Bane down the line be an Olympian? Because these guys, which guys on this team right now are done? 4 years from now, they're not playing. LeBron. Steph, KD, Davis.
Yeah.
Kawhi.
Well, KD for sure.
Adebayo.
Holiday.
Kawhi. Holiday.
Yeah, you're talking about a revamped team with a lot of spots that will be available. Right?
I agree.
Yeah. So this is, I wonder if we'll see that down the line.
I think Ja will be on the Olympic team at some point.
As long as he doesn't, if he stays out of trouble, doesn't set off a international gun incident, they're not afraid of him setting off an international incident with a gun at the Olympics. Yes, I think Ja Morant, absolutely. I think in 4 years, Ja Morant is an Olympian as long as he doesn't get in any more trouble.
The backcourt of Ja and Edwards, replacing the guys from the past, including guys that didn't make the team this year, right? The Hardens and the Westbrooks and all those guys are all old. You mentioned Kawhi. This is the last hurrah. That's why I think this team is focused. I'll be curious to see what they do tonight, although it's an exhibition against Canada in Las Vegas. But they're focused. Again, it would be one of the big upsets in sports history if they don't win the gold.
Texter says Team USA does not have a matchup disadvantage. Players 7 through 12 are better than the other team 7 through 12.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Again, our 7 through 12 is better than their probably 3 through whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, again, none of these teams have more than one or two guys that would be on our roster. Like there's no way. I mean,
right, but playing devil's advocate, 7 through 12 may not make a difference. It's 1 through 5, 1 through 5. The Canadians 1 through 5 can battle the United States. They're not good. They're not better than the United States. But they can battle them. They can battle. But then, as the person was alluding to, you get down to some reserves come in. Now, all of a sudden, the 7 through 12 is substantially better than the rest of the world's teams.
I
and the 7-12.
I wouldn't sleep on Team France either. Like that team.
No, I mean, obviously, France. Yes, France has a.
That's a team. Is Victor playing?
Most of them are younger guys, but obviously we've seen what they've done in the draft here recently. They're now taking over our draft with the top picks every single year. But yeah, I mean them in 4 years. I think that's when that France team could be a real problem but they're loaded. It's just most of those top guys are really really young.
Is Wemby playing?
Yes.
Okay.
They're all Sarr and Reece Sachet are playing too, aren't they?
I
don't know if they're on the team.
Really? Are they not?
I think so, because not Sarr, but Reece Sachet, he's been with the Hawks.
So he's doing what Edie's doing and skipping for his nation? Or do you think he didn't even get picked? I mean, who else would be on that team? Batum? Is he still there?
Yeah, Batum's still on. You got Gobert.
Yeah, Gobert. Okay, Gobert and Wembanyama. You would never get a shot off inside. They block everything. Who else? What other fuzzy Frenchies out there?
So you got Frank Ntilikina.
Yeah.
You got Nando De Colo.
Right. Okay.
Former Spur.
I always thought De Colo was Spanish.
And you got Yabusele. He was a former first-round pick of the Celtics.
Right.
And Evan Fournier.
Fournier, okay.
Fournier. He got into a little incident with your boy Dennis Schroeder over there.
There you go. International incidents.
Speaking
of international incidents, there you go.
Sarr wasn't even on the original, the initial before they cut it down.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yet he was the second overall pick.
Killian Hayes.
I think they cut him.
Did they cut him? I'm looking at the original one. I'm just looking at for other NBA guys that were on the original roster. But again, like you look at that and go, okay, yeah, they've got Wemby and Gobert. Come on. Like they have maybe and Gobert wouldn't make our team. Gobert's one of their best players. He wouldn't make our team. He'd have no chance at making our team.
No.
So again, like Wembanyama is the only guy that would have a chance at making our team.
I mean, Gobert would be like one of the first few alternates if you're lacking bigs, but he's not like stamped like, yeah, you're guaranteed to make
Yeah.
to make the team.
But they're playing
Like
in
you
their
could
home
make
country,
you
man.
could make the argument of him and Adebayo. You could I guess you
Yeah.
could theoretically say maybe you put him on Adebayo for a third center.
Yeah.
But again, he's not one of your top two centers.
No.
That's for sure. Sunrise, when you're talking about breakfast, no better place in town than Sunrise. Sunrise901.com, the website. They got the two locations. On Jefferson Avenue is the original, and Sunrise East on Poplar Avenue in East Memphis. Those delicious biscuit sandwiches. I had a P-Love yesterday, as a matter of fact, from Sunrise. That delicious, the house-made biscuits, big old biscuits. The P-Love is the fried bologna on there. That's absolutely delicious with egg and cheese. They've got those. Of course, they've got their breakfast bowls, the kitchen sink, which is just a little bit of everything. For the lunch menu, some great sandwiches and salads. I love the French dip, the bacon cheeseburger, all kinds of great stuff for both breakfast and lunch over at Sunrise. Again, Sunrise, the original on Jefferson Avenue, and Sunrise East on Poplar Avenue in East Memphis. You can go online at sunrise901.com, order online, and make it very easy for you to swing on by, pick up your food, and be on your way from Sunrise.
2 hours in the books. We still got a lot to get to in hour 3, including Pete Futack, who will join us at 9:30. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
Summertime's finally here, and that means it's time to party. Lucky for you, Family Leisure is having a summertime to party sale. Now, what's all included in this party sale? Practically everything. 24-foot above ground pools for as little as $19.99. All ladders, filter systems, and even robotic cleaners are 20% off. Come in and look at all of the in-stock patio furniture Family Leisure has. Plus, it's up to 50% off. Play gyms for the kids, that's $1,000 off. Patio umbrellas, take 20% off. You can get a 4-person hot tub for just under $3,000. We know you're really going to just use it for yourself. Family Leisure has discounted pricing on all in-stock pool toys and floats while the supplies last, so you better get in quick. Plus, Family Leisure has special financing available. Just ask an associate for all the details. Summertime means party time, and Family Leisure is ready for any party. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun all come together.
This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Belting. They keep you moving.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Trying to recover from this earlier wreck we had over here on 40 westbound just past Sycamore View Road. That's why traffic's been limping along for at least 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes now on 40 westbound over here between Abilene and Sycamore View Road. Traffic's on the increase. It seems here even more so on 55 north coming up through DeSoto County. We've had a couple of wrecks there south of Memphis a little bit earlier. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. They want you to know they are your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in Memphis. Go by and see David and his family today. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56 WSBT.
95.3 DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
We'll get up to 90 today under brilliant sunshine. Then tonight, we're looking at clear skies and a low of 69. A little bit less humidity today. Should be a pretty nice day, especially for nearly mid-July in Memphis. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you. 9:04 the time. We are in the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. Located at 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. And our third-hour sponsor, the great folks at Jenkins Floors and More. If you are looking for flooring, you're looking for carpeting, this is the place to go to. Family-owned and operated. They sell it wholesale. That means they skip the middleman. They're going to save you lots of money. And they can do the job for you. You can do it yourself, but they can do the job for you. An unheard of 2-week turnaround. If you go ahead and go with Jenkins Floors and More, they'll have the job done, installed, completed in 2 weeks. They're located at 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake. Go see them. Go see the new showroom in Horn Lake. They also have stores in Cleveland, Mississippi, and in Little Rock. They specialize, as I said, in flooring and carpeting, hardwoods by Portercraft, carpeting from Southern Luxury Carpet, backsplashes for your kitchens and bathrooms, plantation shutters and blinds, and so much more. Just stop by or give them a call at 662-469-9350. Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins, they will take care of you. Military and first responders, 10% off. And Sports 56 listeners, ask about your family discount. Jenkins Floors and More.
You know who definitely will be on the Olympic team in 4 years? Talking about Ja. This could hurt Ja's chances.
Who?
Of being the point guard. Bronny.
Oh, yes. You're right.
LeBron,
the heir apparent to LeBron.
LeBron will probably replace Grant Hill as the managing director, or whatever that title is. So J.J. Redick will be the coach because he deserves it. And then Bronny, with all the hard work he's put in him, he's a true underdog story. He'll have earned a spot on the Olympic team by then because he'll average like 2 points a game that season in the NBA. And so they'll say, he's earned a spot. I don't know how you guys could question this. He's earned a spot. And so Ja could be left off for Bronny in that situation. I'm sure Rich Paul will have something to do with the team.
He has clout.
It'll be, Bronny's almost a lock for that team.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier in the show if you weren't with us. I've been gone for 2 weeks, and all the stories that have been happening in the last 2 weeks here in Memphis, from Ed Scott getting the gig as the new Memphis AD to the draft and Zach Edey going 9. But that Bronny James story, which again won me a lunch bet, so I knew it was going to happen. But gosh, I did not expect him to get a 4-year deal. Pick number 55 overall. Just absolutely ludicrous. We're not knocking the guy in the sense that we wish him ill. I mean, he's had the heart issue, and I hope he ends up proving us wrong. But you talk about nepotism at its finest. I mean, the Lakers did that, obviously, to appease LeBron. LeBron calls the shots. And anybody who thinks, again, that LeBron had nothing to do with J.J. Redick, shut up. Just be quiet. You don't know what you're talking about. It is what it is. Power people get to do things that most mortals cannot do. And he can decide. I don't care about Rob Pelinka. I don't care about Jeannie Buss. He can decide what the Lakers are doing. And he has done that. So good for him. And good for Bronny, who's now a rich young man.
Great for Bronny.
Now a rich young man. Seems like a great young man, but I know he's a rich young man. Some baseball news.
I would assume he was already a rich young man. I don't think LeBron was keeping his billions of dollars or whatever he's got now away from him.
There are some parents that do that stuff. They're millionaires, billionaires, and they say, you know what? Go out and earn your own money. It's ridiculous. It seems ridiculous, but there are. And again, I'm not going to knock his parenting skills. He seems like he's an unbelievable father. Major League Baseball.
He just got his son a great job. He can't be a better father. What are you talking about? He's an absolutely great father. He just got his son he just made his son a millionaire.
Well, not only did he get him a great deal, But with all the things that he and Rich Paul, have said about Bronny, they've made Bronny into something he's not. An actually really good basketball player. When he played at USC, do people remember? And then his first summer league outing, again, one summer league outing doesn't mean that's the way he'll be for his career, but it looked like he didn't even belong in the summer league. Okay. Major League Baseball All-Star Game is Tuesday. The Home Run Derby is Monday. And yesterday they announced that Jose Ramirez has been added. So now the field is set for the Derby. Pete Alonso, once again, I think a two-time champion, will be involved. You got some young guys like Gunnar Henderson of the Orioles. You like the Home Run Derby, correct?
Yeah. The new rules this year are confusing as hell.
Oh, no, they changed again?
Yeah, there's a limit on the number of pitches in the first round, and they're not doing head-to-head in the first round.
Oh, so they're putting pressure now on the guys who are pitching, whether it's the father of the player or the pitching coach. Now they got the pressure to throw strikes?
Yeah, it's a very confusing thing.
That's what we want to do. Confusing. More confusing for the fans out there. Come on. Can't they make this thing simple?
The field's not. They should have two more people, right?
No, it said yesterday Jose Ramirez was the last guy that completes the field. That's what it said.
Did they cut the field down to 6 this year, maybe?
I don't know.
That might be one of the new rules. No, I thought maybe they did. They might have went down to 6 this year to speed it up too. I don't know.
Major League Baseball All-Star Game replacements. Hunter Green from the Reds has been added to replace Tyler Glasnow, the Dodgers, who's injured. And Jordan Westberg, yet another one of those young Orioles, he is in for Rafael Devers of the Red Sox, who is hurt and not able to play. I'm sure there will be some more. And then, of course, you have the pitchers that pitch on Sunday. They're ineligible. A lot of replacements, I'm sure, are still to be named for the All-Star Game. The Midsummer Classic coming up on Tuesday. And I hate it again that they have, even though I love conformity to a certain extent with things, not with the All-Star Game. I want to see their individual team jerseys. Phillies have the most players, man. I want to see all those Phillies duds up there. But no, you got to have the National League unis, the American League unis.
The new format still says there's 8 participants.
Okay, well, it said yesterday Ramirez was added. You sure they didn't already have 7?
They have 5.
Okay.
He is the 6th guy. You got Alonso.
That's fine. I mean, again, I'm just rolling into the country.
Marcell Ozuna, Alec Baum, Gunnar Henderson, Pete Alonso, and now Jose Ramirez.
Okay.
That's 6 guys. So there should be 2 more guys that they have to add to it. But it's a limit of you get 3 minutes or 40 pitches in the first round. Now, you can only
3 minutes or 40 pitches.
And then after the initial 3 minutes or 40 pitches, then you get 3 bonus outs. And then you can earn a 4th bonus out with a 425-foot homer during the bonus outs. So it's very...
I mean, the 425-foot estimated home run. Okay.
It's a very confusing thing that they're doing, but yes.
That is absolutely confusing.
And again, there's no head-to-head in the first round. It'll just be the top 4 advance on, and then they go to head-to-head after the first round. Then they're going to do matches. The number 1 will go against number 4, 2 versus 3. But yes, there should still be 2 more people added.
All right, Big 12 Media Days. We talked earlier about the comments from Mike Gundy. We do not yet have the media picks for the Big 12, but apparently we have the media picks for the Mountain West and Boise State, which seems to be the one school that, one of a few, that people believe will battle, hopefully Memphis in that mix, for the group of 5 spot in the playoffs, is the pick to win the Mountain West. They got 38 first-place votes, 543 total votes. UNLV, Barry Odom, friend of the show, 4 first-place votes, 2nd. Then Fresno State, 4 first-place votes, 3rd, followed by Air Force, Colorado State, 5, and then the rest of the Hitler Youth. Boise State's going to dominate that conference. Absolutely dominate that conference. Memphis plays in Boise next year? So the 25 or the 26 schedule?
I don't know for sure. I think it's next year.
Okay.
Because next year's the year Arkansas was supposed to come in,
Right,
correct?
right.
Now we'll see what they do with the whole stadium issue on that. No, the at Boise game next year is at Troy. The return for the Troy game this year. 26 is the at Boise State game.
So 2026.
Next year is supposed to be at Troy and at Georgia State. Arkansas is supposed to be here. Again, now whether they'll try and change that at all
Troy
because
and at
of
Georgia
the
State?
because of the stadium issue, I don't know if they'll want to play Arkansas at home or how they'll handle that. But yeah, next year is Chattanooga, Arkansas at home, at Georgia State, at Troy.
Did you read the story that Colorado, when they were enticed by the Big 12 to come over from the Pac-12, Dan Wolken wrote the story that Colorado got a $2.5 million signing bonus to join the Big 12, and the other new members didn't.
Yeah, I saw something about it. I didn't read the whole story.
So a school gets a signing bonus. Didn't SMU have to pay to go to the ACC?
They're not getting payouts for whatever many years.
Yeah, still get a little signing bonus. I know yesterday you talked about the Keegan Bradley news, and then it came out later in the day that Keegan Bradley said live golfers will be considered for the 2025 U.S. Ryder Cup team. They'll be participating at Bethpage Black in the New York area. Of course, in 2023 in Rome, Team USA lost, coached by Zach Johnson, who decided not to pick Keegan Bradley, which was a mistake. Not sure if that would have made a difference, but he didn't pick Keegan Bradley, who deserved at a couple of wins that year. And then all of a sudden, Keegan Bradley gets a phone call, never asked for the job, never auditioned for the job or whatever the hell you have to do if you do anything, and gets the job. And most people believed it was going to be Tiger Woods. Again, I'm sure you discussed it yesterday, but that was a shocker when I read that. I think, is he trying to appease Keegan Bradley? And why is Zach Johnson? Because I guess he's a board member or makes these decisions. He's the guy who helped lead the team to a disastrous 2023 Ryder Cup, doesn't pick the one guy, and now picks that guy with no previous experience as a Ryder Cup captain, not the captain, but an assistant captain, and picks him as the captain of the 25 team. I don't even get it.
Well, Zach Johnson didn't pick him.
But he was part of the committee that did, and then he made the phone call.
But I mean, it's.
But he had input.
It was Tiger's job if he wanted it. Tiger just didn't, as he doesn't believe he has the time to dedicate to it right now.
Right, that's fine. But then their next choice is Keegan Bradley. I mean, it's what? Tiger Woods, and there's no disrespect to Keegan Bradley, but again, what do they call them? The co-captains, the guys that are the assistants, whatever. He hasn't even been one of those. So you went from that to Keegan Bradley? I thought that was really strange.
No, it's certainly a surprise. The youngest since the 50s when Arnold Palmer was a player captain. Like, it just doesn't. Normally, it's older guys, but the fact that he's a Northeastern guy, and Mickey was talking about yesterday that he had said at one point that he really wanted to be an assistant captain at Bethpage because he loves New York, and even though he's a Boston guy, and he talked about all the support he gets when he's there.
Right.
Just a little surprising, but listen, I'm all for the U.S. trying different things anyway, so you might as well.
I like Keegan Bradley. He's fiery. Yeah, he's definitely a Bostonian, not a New Yorker, but it is what it is. Maybe they need that kind of fire. Like Zach Johnson from the get-go, the whole thing about him and his being a buddy with those guys, Spieth, Ricky Fowler, Thomas, like that little group, being friends, he couldn't separate the friendship from being a good captain, in my opinion, and made the wrong choice. Again, I don't think it makes a difference. Europeans were winning that thing. They usually dominate on European soil. But a little bit different story when they come here to the United States. I am disappointed, though, that Tiger's not going to be a part of it. Again, his busy schedule does not include playing tournaments.
No, but he's on the board where the to try to get the deal done with PIF and all that stuff. And
good luck.
And he still says he still wants to play. So he's Tiger will be the Ryder Cup captain. Whatever Tiger Woods wants to be the Ryder Cup captain.
No question.
It's just he'll tell them. I mean, they talked about it at the PGA Championship. Like, it's his job. We're waiting for him to tell us whether he wants it or not. That's basically all it is. It's very late in the game for them to name a captain, but that's simply because they were just waiting for Tiger to let them know, hey, do you want it or not? And then, okay, you don't? All right, we'll go to the next guy.
Final majors next week, the Open Championship at Royal Troon. This week, it's the Scottish Open, tune-up. Rory, who I believe is the defending champion, if I'm not mistaken, talked today, 7 hours later in the day, over there in Europe, where I'm now a charter member. But he said that, I'm learning how to... Thank you, Alexa. He is over the meltdown. He's over it from the U.S. Open. We'll see.
I would think by now he is.
I hope so. I don't think he handled it real well in not talking to the media. All right. Got Pete Futak coming up. He'll be joining us at 9:30 again. No DeMichael Cole today. DeMichael had a couple of responsibilities with the commercial appeal, so was unable to join us today. But we will have him on back in his normal spot at 9:05 next Wednesday.
Fleet Feet is the place to go to get all your running gear. You want to make sure you get those shoes that are just right for you. And the folks at Fleet Feet, well, they will do that for you. They take a look at the way you run, the way you walk, where you put the pressure on the different parts of your feet, those types of things. And then they'll get you fitted with shoes that are perfect for you. Plus, any other stuff that you need, well, they've got that for you, whether it be shorts or shirts or hats or anything. They've got that for you. Of course, they give you advice as well. If you're getting started running, or maybe you're running in a race for the first time, want to know how to train, they can help you, give you advice. They're all runners. They're all about the runners over at Fleet Feet, and they've got 2 locations for you to go see them. In East Memphis, it's in the Laurelwood Shopping Center. They're right next to Panera Bread Company. And then also out in Collierville, Poplar and Houston Levy, right next to the Hueys out there. Online at fleetfeetmemphis.com, where you can keep up with the things they've got going on. They also are on social media, keeping up to date on things they've got going on. So check them out. Again, 2 locations of Fleet Feet.
Oh, by the way, the Grizzlies' final game in Salt Lake City is tonight. So back to back to back. They'll play the Thunder of Oklahoma City, 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock tip tonight to wrap it up in Salt Lake City before they head to Las Vegas for the NBA 2K25 Summer League with their first game on Friday against the Kings. Then Monday, the Mavs. Wednesday, the Magic of next week. And next Thursday, the New Orleans Pelicans.
I've never been to Salt Lake City. I think I've been to the airport. That's it. Feels like that's a massive difference going from Salt Lake City to Las Vegas. Just
and Denver, to be honest with you,
feels like a big difference there between the two cities. Again, I've never been to Salt Lake City, never hung out there, so I don't know for sure what goes on. But it just seems a lot different than Las Vegas.
Well, I have. I've done 2 games in Salt Lake City. I did an NIT game. And I also did an American of Alliance football game, which, by the way, the University of Utah Stadium is beautiful. And you got the mountains, the snow-capped mountains in the backdrop. Salt Lake City is a beautiful, beautiful city, beautiful area. Yes, it is Mormon-centric, and it's not a big party town. And you are absolutely right in your assessment. You have to actually join a club for an after-hour beer. So we joined like this little club. You signed a card. I don't know if you even paid a few dollars or whatever it was.
Kyle Filipowski, I think, is in that club.
Yeah, I don't know about that whole deal. I was reading about that situation. But anyway, you do that, and it's not like you can't get a beer in Salt Lake City, but it is not Las Vegas. But it is a beautiful, beautiful city. All right, when we come back, Pete Futak, the publisher of collegefootballnews.com, will join us. We'll talk to him about a number of different topics, including his coaches' rankings, which has come out for 2024. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
7283. At McElroy and Associates, they understand that bad things can happen to good people. Jimmy has helped thousands of people overcome financial problems in 30-plus years of experience and is licensed in Tennessee and Mississippi. They make this process as easy as possible. Contact them today to find out how you can get a fresh start. That's Jimmy McElroy and Associates at 901-363-7283.
Maybe you've driven by Sunrise on Jefferson or Sunrise East on Poplar and seen the full parking lot and thought you didn't want to have to wait forever for your breakfast or lunch. Well, here's the thing. At both Sunrise locations, their goal is to get you your order fresh and made just for you in 5 minutes or less. Sometimes they may not meet that goal, but the important thing is at Sunrise, they're trying to, because Sunrise only hires people that actually care about the customers. Whether it's breakfast or lunch, Sunrise on Jefferson and Sunrise on Poplar are doing their very best to give you the very best.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Granger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call Granger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Wash your office building? Impossible! Not call Wilson's Pro Wash. Your house, fence, driveway, warehouse, store, hotel, even cars and trucks can all be squeaky clean and beautiful after pressure washing by Wilson's Pro Wash. Wilson's specializes in cleaning all hard surfaces, concrete, stone, brick, and mortar, even wood and vinyl siding. Then Wilson's can seal their surfaces so they stay looking brand new. Call Wilson's Pro Wash, 91524-6799, or online at wilsonsprowash.com.
Save on O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner. Get 2 cans of O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner for just $8. Valid in-store only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jenkins Floors and More. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:26 the time. Hour 3 here on Sports 56 Mornings. Good to be back in the saddle. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Zach Boyd with you. Eli will be off tomorrow on Friday, and it'll be myself and Zach. We'll have a bunch of great guests tomorrow and Friday. Speaking of great guests, it feels fantastic. I'm back from my vacation, and we're, 7 weeks away, roughly, from the start of the college football season, thereabouts. I could be off a little bit, but it's right around the corner. It's great to be talking football again. We're going to have great guests throughout the next couple of months getting you set for the season, then, of course, throughout the season as well. Our guest right now is Pete Futak. He's the publisher of collegefootballnews.com. He does a wonderful job. You can follow him on Twitter at Pete Futak. That's F-I-U-T-A-K. He joins us now on Sports 56 Mornings. Hey, Pete, how are you?
I'm fine. Where'd you go on vacation? Where do you go on vacation?
I went to Switzerland, Austria, then I went to Germany, Liechtenstein, and then Italy. Capped it off with Italy. So I've been gone for 2 weeks. I feel
That's
lost.
pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
It is cool. And then you walk back into the magazines are coming out now. You know, you follow people like yourself talking about college football. So I'm excited. I'm fired up. I know here in Memphis, they're fired up. But you also put together your list of coaches, your coaches' rankings. I always get a kick out of this each year. What is the criteria you use when you're looking at trying to evaluate and then put in order coaches?
Officially? It's basically... I mean, because here's the thing. You can't... You can do it basically on, okay, reputation, what have you done, who are the guys who are doing it. It's really kind of more based on the right now. Mm-hmm. And, when you have if you were to say, okay, every job is open, who would be your number one pick to take a guy who's in the best situation, but that's not necessarily fair because who is the really good coach at a place like at Georgia as opposed to a place like Eastern Michigan? It's kind of who's doing the least with the most, who's doing the most with the least, combined with, who's kind of the hot coach out there right now, who's got the good offense, who's got the the good energy, and who kind of needs to win. And it's a whole mishmash of stuff that kind of comes out into, well, we're just going to get it close to the pin and kind of say right now these are where the guys are. So you kind of know who in general, the guys who are just getting started are going to be near the bottom. Like Deshaun Foster of UCLA, great guy, absolutely nothing against him, but he doesn't have any head coaching experience. I mean, he's basically been a running backs coach for like 2 years. So someone like that is going to be at the bottom only because of the lack of experience. He can come out and win the national title, and like, what do we know? But for right at the moment, that's part of it. And then there's obviously the Kirby Smarts of the world and Devos and things like that, guys like that who just have to be at the top of the heap. So
it's because there are a couple of guys towards the top that I did want to ask you about, and obviously Kirby, yes, no doubt. You got Ryan Day at 2. How much pressure is there on Ryan Day this year to probably beat Michigan and absolutely make the playoff?
Well, more than ever, and it's on so many different levels. And I'm going to mangle the stat, but just the numbers are relatively close. I think we came up with something crazy. Like there are only like 14 coaches out of the 134, 14 this year, 17 this year, so that were able to win 60% of their games and have been at the same school for 5 years. It doesn't seem like that great a criteria. I mean, really, 6 out of 10, that's a bad record. And it's hard to do. It's really, really hard to win 60% of your games. Ryan Day is like, I think, 89%. And if you look at Ryan Day's losses, he loses to Alabama in the national championship. They lost to Clemson in the semifinals. He's got 3 losses to Michigan. There's 1 home loss to Oregon, which is kind of the outlier, not counting the bowl game to Missouri last year when they didn't have any players. So he's doing amazing stuff. He just hasn't been able to beat Michigan over the last few years, and so that's why he's on a hot seat. And this year, more than ever, he's got such a loaded team that it's not just, beat Michigan. It is this team, there's no excuse. There's too much talent there to not at least play for the national championship.
And the other guy is Dabo, who you have at number 3. When do we start knocking him down if he's not going to get into the transfer portal?
Well, the thing about him is it's so crazy. It just might work. He's the only guy who's not doing it really. And I think definitely like last year, if Keon Coleman, for example, the former Michigan State wide receiver, goes to Florida State, becomes their number 1 receiver, becomes an All-American caliber guy, becomes a real playmaker for them. If he goes to Clemson instead of Florida State, Clemson's the one who's probably winning the ACC championship because they were one good deep threat away from being pretty good. And it's not there's the Dion way of doing it where you're making your team all transfers, which is kind of the all frosting, no cake way of doing this. And then there's the Dabo way where, there's something to be said for loyalty. There's something to be said for not having to be able to develop your players and telling your guys, hey, you don't have to worry about your gig. You're just don't worry about the depth chart. Just keep getting better. We're not going to go out and replace you. And there's something to be said for that. That might actually work to a point. But yeah, he does have to get to dabble a little bit. Probably wouldn't be a bad thing. But look, that's his brand. That's his thing right now. But it's another guy who you kind of forget that. Their but for the South Carolina game a couple years ago, they're probably in the college football playoff. Last year, you can point to about 3 different moments where if they had the right kicker, they beat Florida State. And things like that. So he's still really good at what he does. It's just we're talking about the highest of the high levels here with some of these guys.
Pete Futak, the publisher of collegefootballnews.com, joining us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest lines. All right, our old buddy, Mike Norvell, who joined us, a couple months ago, or maybe even less than that, here on the program. You got him at number 6. How has he progressed over the last few years on your lists?
Well, all of a sudden he's got Florida State back again. So I still think last year's Florida State team was way overrated. I still think they didn't beat anybody, really. If you really kind of look at their schedule, they got a couple nice wins, but nothing amazing. But look, Florida State's back. I mean, under Jimbo Fisher, Willie Taggart, it took a while for things to turn back around there, and at least he's got the Noles back in the mix where they're probably the odds-on favorite to win the ACC this year. They're probably going to go to the college football playoff. They might not be back as the superpowers, but it's a progression in the mix where you just get this program back to a level where you can hope for 10 wins a year and be good. That's a pretty good standard. And it's starting to work, but it takes a while to get things going. It takes a while to get the offensive lines in place and to get your people there. And he's been able to kind of manipulate the transfer portal and be able to get the right guys and get his system in place. So he's been doing pretty well, all right.
You've got Ryan Silverfield at number 39. With the University of Memphis, there's a lot of people out there that have them projected as that group of 5 team to make the playoff. What's your thoughts on Memphis this year and their chances to be that team?
They're there. They're in the mix. I mean, you have to remember, it's going to be a hard thing to get there because it's a little bit different standard for the group of 5 champ because there's going to be Liberty's going to go 11-1, if not 12-0. So Liberty, their schedule isn't very good, but their record's going to look great. And last year, the shiny 12-0 record, or 13-0 record, got them into the college or to the big bowl game, the New Year's Six bowl game, and then they got stomped. But in terms of just which teams are just right there and good enough, certainly it's going to be Memphis. Certainly it's going to be Boise State. Tulane is going to be okay, but if you look at their schedule, they're going to struggle early because but if they win one of their 2 games against Kansas State and Oklahoma, if they can pull off an upset there, you look at the rest of their schedule, they're going to rip through it up until the regular season finale against Memphis. So there's a whole lot of teams out there that are going to be very good. But the thing about this, for Memphis and for all these other ones, is you have to win your conference championship first. Yeah. I mean, because obviously, none of these teams are going to make it are going to get into the top 12 just because there's only going to be you have to be the conference champ to get that automatic 12th seed, if not higher. And it's not going to be easy, because there's going to be one team out there that's going to be really, really good in the group of 5 world. Again, the Boise States of the world. Mm-hmm. Look at Air Force, what their schedule is. That might be one of those teams. And so Memphis, all you can do is just look really good, get to 10-2, win the AAC championship. And if they can get 11-2, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, hypothetically, you just hit that number. In my opinion, hypothetically, if Memphis went out there and lost to Florida State, and who knows what happens there, lost 1 game during the regular season in conference, won the conference championship, I think they'd be in pretty good shape. But if they lost 2 and still won the conference championship, plus Florida State, that's 3 overall losses. That probably wouldn't be good enough, do you think?
It depends on, again, Liberty's the problem, and I'm blanking. I think Liberty plays one good team. I could be wrong on this, but there's a reason their win total's at 10.5. I mean, the Conference USA is just so weak, and they come back so good, and they're just going to do what they did last year again. So the problem with the College Football Playoff Committee is they don't really know and dive deep into college football. They know their stuff when they have to, but really it's records. They go off of what is your record, and then kind of the schedule. And so when it comes to this is where they're going to have to be a little more discerning and be like, yeah, you know what, Liberty didn't play a Florida State, or they didn't play, in Oklahoma, or some of these teams and some of these other group of 5s are playing. And it is going to matter in that sort of way. But what you don't want is, like you said, it might not be Liberty. Liberty's kind of the outlier because even though they're not supposed to care about what happened last year, these are humans and they saw what happened last year. Mm. So the outlier is you don't want that. Again, let's say an Air Force goes 12-1 and wins the Mountain West Championship. There's going to be someone out there who has a really big year on the group of 5 level. And if you're Memphis, you just got to look the part. And yeah, this is where style points are going to count because it is going to be a beauty contest. It's the one part of this where it's more than even the other conferences where the group of 5 teams are going to have to look the part.
Liberty goes to App State.
So
that's a big group of 5 game for both because App State figures to be good.
App State's really good, and that's the best of the Sun Belt. So that's good, but there's no Power 4 games on their schedule. So again, for the second year in a row. and that matters. I mean, the problem though with the committee over the 10 years that we've done this though is they do not give really any credit for a pretty good loss. They give lip service to it, but the outlier of all time was 2020 when Texas A&M, they lost at Alabama to that juggernaut of an Alabama team, and had they played Alabama State instead, they're in the college football playoff and Notre Dame isn't. So they just don't give credit to getting for a really good loss. But so as long as if you don't, even if as soon as Memphis can't win that game, style points are going to count. As long as they don't get just absolutely torched, then that should be fine.
Ole Miss, are you as high on them as many are and believe that they are absolutely a playoff team?
Yeah, to a point. I mean, that's you look at the coach, going back to the coaches list, I think it's possible. Lane Kiffin probably is one of the most underappreciated coaches because he's so Lane Kiffin. He's got his brash statements, and everyone, has their thoughts on him. But everyone just kind of assumes, it's Ole Miss, the SEC. Ole Miss is not a good football program. If you look at the history of that thing, forgetting the other outlying parts of this, they didn't exactly win a lot. They had a couple of years there where they were pretty good. But for the most part, it's been rough sledding in the SEC and in college football for Ole Miss. And now what he's been able to do is come in. He's been able to use the combination of the transfer portal and building up players and his systems, and he's winning there at a place that's not a traditional power when it comes to winning lots of games. And so now they've been able to amass so much talent and his style and his system. He's one of those guys where you could actually make a real argument that, at least among the Power 4 guys, he's doing the most with the least.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. Although he's done great in the portal. They obviously have done really, really well. Pete Futak is joining us on the program. All right, two-parter for you, Pete. How easy or difficult will it be, the transition of Texas and Oklahoma into the SEC?
Hard.
Okay, and expound on that, but also how many do you have from the SEC going to the playoff in this first year?
Not as many as we might think, because here's how this is going to work. First of all, to answer your first question, I think this is where reality is going to come to breakfast for Texas, Oklahoma, Oregon, Washington. I mean, there's a difference between, if you look at the comp schedules where, not to conference shame here, but the Big 12 was all right last year. Big 12's pretty good this year. There is a difference between having to deal with Iowa State and TCU and Texas Tech and Alabama, LSU, and Tennessee.
Right.
Whatever is on that schedule. I mean, the positive side about for some of these bigger conferences now is, there's lots of games out there that are winnable. Like if someone has to play Vanderbilt, someone has to play the South Carolinas, who they'll be all right, but they're still not a power right now. Someone's got to play the Northwesterns and Purdue's of the world. So I think it's going to be harder. I'm not just going to assume that some of those wins, like last year, they got by TCU by the skin of their teeth. They're not going to be able to do that every single week in the SEC. And then in terms of how many SEC teams get in, I don't think as many as everyone's going to think, because if you look over, again, the 10-year history of the college football playoff, you basically have to go 10-2 to get in. And, that's the outlier being what did you do in your conference championship. But before the conference championships, if you're not 10-2, you need not apply. Even last year, Oklahoma was 10-2, and it wouldn't have gotten in. It would have been the 12th. It was ranked 12th, so it would have been knocked out for Liberty. So you got to get into a top 11. And so as is, there's already 5 conference champions that are going to get in this thing, which leaves only 6 more spots, really, outside of actually 7 more spots, in this mix. So out of those 7 spots, you got to know that there's going to be at least another 2 Big Ten teams. There's probably going to be an extra Big 12 team in there because, again, some Big 12 team's going to go 10-2 or 11-2 and not win their conference championships. And that's going to be the other funky thing that we're all going to have to get used to fast. Again, in the brief history of the college football playoff, there really wasn't an outlier loss. There wasn't a crazy, Purdue over Ohio State sort of, shocker up there. It went pretty chalky. But now that's not going to happen because you don't have division. So instead of having, that outlier, division winner against the powerhouse, you're going to have two teams that win 11-1 or 10-2 at the very worst. And both of those teams are probably going to be in. And so even if you have, let's say, an undefeated champion who loses to the really good 10-2 team, well, they're both going to kind of get in. So really long-winded way of saying, I think you're only going to probably get maybe 3 or 4 SEC teams at most in.
See, I hear what you're saying, and it makes a lot of sense, but I cannot wait to have that discussion when that committee looks at an 11-2 runner-up in the Big 12 and then ends up going with a 3-loss SEC team that finished 4th over them or 5th over them.
They'll never do it, and they're going to trust me. If you look, well, they're going to have to do that, like you said. But if they go by strictly how they've done it over the last 10 years, you don't get into that top 11 at 9-3. I mean, they're going to give full credit to at least to the Power 4 conference. So you are going to get maybe 2. There's no way they're going to take a 4th or 5th SEC or Big Ten team over a second Big 12 team that wins 11 games.
Okay.
So so that's going to be a little bit of the fight, but you know what? At that point, the nice part about this is now we're fighting over. Really, you can't be the number 11 team. The fight over last year with Florida State, where they didn't deserve to be in, and we can do that again. But look, that fight stunk. That wasn't fair. That wasn't fun. Now there's a mechanism. You know what? Win your Power 4 conference championship, and there's no problem from there.
Talk about Texas and Oklahoma. Oklahoma, their schedule in the SEC is absolutely brutal. You know about welcoming a team. My goodness, you got to go to at Auburn, at Ole Miss, at Missouri, at LSU, and you play Alabama and Texas. And Texas is also away from home, obviously, in the neutral field.
Wow.
Oh, there's some of those that are definitely like that, where if you look across the landscape, there's some teams kind of, you say, you know what, that's kind of a break. Everyone's got an at Penn State or an at Tennessee or someone on there. Everyone's got somebody tough. And then there are some, like you just mentioned, you can just, look at USC's schedule. I mean, just wow. Wisconsin, Wisconsin's a really good team coming back this year. It's going to be far better. And one of their non-conference games is Alabama, and that's the 4th hardest game on their schedule. If you look at what they've got, because they've got to go to to all these nasty places, So it's going to be a real fun time to see how some of these schedules kind of play out. This is where I do back to your other point, where this is where I agree with you. Where I do think it would be better if you were to have a more discerning college football playoff committee that could say, hey, you know what? That 9-3 SEC team, who'd they lose to? They lost to Alabama, Georgia, and in a tough fight, as opposed to looking at another team that had a slightly easier path and schedule, and they just don't. But they just don't do that. I wish they did, but they really do. It's a really easy out for them to say, you know what? Hey, this team went, had the better record. Let's give them the shot, rather than say, hey, really dive in and say this team actually probably deserves it a little more than that team.
Yeah. No, you're right. Pete, tell everybody about collegefootballnews.com.
Still rolling. The college football previews for every team are almost completely up there. The big ones are coming up in the next 3 days or so. The Alabama, Georgias, Ohio States are going up in the next couple of days, couple hours. And then it's on. Like you said, it's media days, which I am going to confess I just don't like. But I will. But now it's when every question is talk about, and every answer is work hard. So I can't. It can't. But yeah, it's starting to feel there and starting to get there. Hard Knocks is coming on. Starting to feel very football-y around here.
Hey, Pete, great stuff as always. Thank you so much. Hopefully we get to do this again in the not too distant future.
Anytime, guys. You have a good one.
You too.
Well, we have a team. We're going to have a change on Team USA apparently.
I just saw. I looked into.
We're gonna have a different player on Team USA.
I feel like I'm in my crystal ball today.
I looked through the glass. I saw this face that he was making, Zach Boyd. I don't know what it was. We'll get to the details in our final segment.
Genesis Diamonds, located at Poplar and Perkins Extended for any jewelry you're looking for. Can't beat the selection, can't beat the prices, can't beat the service that you'll find at Genesis Diamonds. All those top designers, they've got them all. Many places aren't allowed to carry any of them. They've got them all. And these are the designers that the ladies probably know about. You probably, you may not know about them because you're not that smart when it comes to buying jewelry. Well, the folks over at Genesis Diamonds, they're going to educate you on who those top designers are, what you should be looking for when you're looking for that perfect engagement ring, when you're looking for whatever piece of jewelry it is. They're there to educate you, help you pick out that perfect piece of jewelry that she's absolutely going to love. Go see them, Poplar and Perkins Extended. They also have the state's largest selection of luxury pre-owned Rolexes. It's all at Genesis Diamonds.
All right, we'll come back with that information on Team USA. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farm All, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find the Case IH Farm All that's right for you.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Five Ash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com. 367-0050 or MemphisRoofer.com.
Looking for an engagement ring that will really knock her socks off? You need to be at Genesis Diamonds. It's such a privilege at Genesis Diamonds for us to work with the world's finest designers, to be able to offer brands like Tacori and Veragio, and we're excited to be able to give you some brands. Genesis Vice President David Cooper, the craftsmanship, the detail, the quality, the individuality is bar none. Genesis has been selected as an exclusive provider for every top designer from ways to choose from. And if that's not enough, they can create something that's truly just to craft your learning anything you can imagine. You have the capabilities to realize any dream you have. These are never starts with all new. We've been doing it for 5 years already. So don't settle for a mediocre style design. You deserve. I'm David Cooper, and I'm excited to see you show. It's extended.
Is your vehicle stopping like it should? Does it squeal or grind when you brake? Don't miss out on summer brake deals at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 95 FM. This hour brought to you by Jenkins Stores. And once again, our Greg Gaston and Eli Support.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:52 the time. Final few minutes here on this Wednesday edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Dave Woloshin coming up next with Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. We were talking earlier about Team USA. They got their first of 5 exhibition games tonight versus Canada. This one taking place in Las Vegas. We were going over who we thought the starters should be in the rotation, and now all of a sudden there's going to be a roster change.
Yeah, according to Shams and Joe Varden, they are reporting that Kawhi Leonard is withdrawing from Team USA and will be replaced. And they say, so there must not be an alternate list that they're go to. They say that Derek White is a strong candidate to replace him.
Derek White, really? Defensive-minded guy who hit some big shots for Boston. You can't argue with what he did this year. But I would think that there'd be some other names out there that would get the call before him. But, wow, how about that? Yeah, Kawhi, I had read where Kawhi was good to go tonight, and Kevin Durant wasn't good to go because of the knee, and now Kawhi pulls out.
Yeah, so I don't know for sure what exactly the issue or why now, but according to their reporting, he is withdrawing, and we'll see who that replacement is if it is Derek White. But so that you would ask Zach whether they would take somebody off the select team, right?
Right.
So that if they take Derek White, the answer is no.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm curious. They went with Derek White. I was like, why didn't they ask Jaylen Brown?
Well, it isn't confirmed yet that it's White.
Yeah, I mean, they might ask other that are like guys who are like, you know what, I haven't, like somebody like that might be like, dude, I haven't done anything since the season ended. Like, I'm not ready to go play. Like I'm where somebody else might be. Yeah, I'm in shape, ready to go.
Dude, right now may be on a gondola rather in Italy, like I was. I mean, they may be on vacation and are like, nah, it's too late now. Don't ask me. It may become a question of availability. Who's on the select team? I haven't paid any attention other than Flag. I know
Jaime Jaquez Jr., Brandon Pajemski.
Oh, my God.
You got Jalen Duren,
that's
Langston
right.
Galloway, Nigel Hayes Davis, Tracy Jackson Davis, Keegan Murray, Peyton Pritchard, Ahmed Thompson, Jalen Suggs, Jabari Smith, Michael Potter.
I wouldn't take any of those guys.
Well, they're not.
I mean, Keegan Murray, I would.
He's the only guy I was thinking of, is Keegan Murray. But when you're talking about Derek White, if they replace Kawhi with Derek White, Kawhi's a great defensive player. Derek White's a great defensive player.
He is.
You have Holiday. I mean, some of these other guys aren't great defensive players. I mean, Durant is not a great defensive player, although he can block shots because of his size.
So they can go with the Derek White, Drew Holiday backcourt like the Celtics did to defend when they're playing against all these top guards. You got your two defensive guards that won the NBA championship.
And then you play Jason Tatum.
You're going to wreak havoc.
It'll be the Celtics. You might as well add Jaylen Brown as well, get rid of somebody else, and bring in Al Horford.
You talk about a closing lineup. Like, just imagine, like, all right, Team USA, you're up a bucket. We need a stop. Let's throw out Drew Holiday and Derek White and just and cause mayhem for the other opponents for the next 3 minutes.
That's true. Mentioned earlier, the Boise State Broncos picked to win the Mountain West by the media voting. Ashton Genty, the running back from Boise State, Memphis did a great job on him last year when they played him. They slowed him down. He is the Mountain West preseason player of the year. It'll be the Grizzlies tonight and Oklahoma City. Again, 6 o'clock start Central Time, their third and final game in Salt Lake City. And then it is off to Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas, starting on Friday, the first of 4 for the Grizzlies in the Summer League in Las Vegas. I want to thank Pete Futak for joining us on the program today. Tomorrow, it'll be myself and Zach. Got a plethora of guests, including Kerry Miller. We'll talk Major League Baseball with Kerry as we do each and every week. We'll talk some news with Sam Hardiman, including what's going on with Liberty Park. Parker Fleming joins us to talk some Grizzlies and others guests as well lined up. That'll do it for us. Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 is coming up next for Eli Savoy and for Zach Boyd. I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great hump day, everybody.